Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Dawn.
You want to talk about client management systems?
Not necessarily. Actually, I do. I do like client management systems. They're very fun.
Okay. So
At least mine is.
let me have you start first.
All right. So CRMs are some of the client. What is it? Mine's called mine's a CRM. Yeah, client relationship management.
We are authorities on this topic, I promise.
So please sponsor us. Anyway, so they're usually a program or an app that help you handle having multiple clients with multiple deadlines and multiple addresses, phone numbers. It basically gives all your information in one easy-to-use app.
Yes.
There are literally 10 million of them out there.
100 gazillion.
And they don't necessarily even have to be a photographer. There's some, like I think there's one like 10,000 hats. Is that right? I don't know. See?
17 hats.
So that can be used for anything. I currently use one called Studio Ninja, which was made specifically just for photographers. You could use it for other stuff, but it is very, like the wording in it, everything is based around photography. It is a product that I actually saw at Imaging in Atlanta in like 2016.
Was it Imaging or was it WPPI?
That was Imaging because it was the Hotlanta one.
Okay.
It was the same one we saw MagMod.
Okay.
Because I got
that was a big year.
It was a big year. So I had, I was just at that time where I kind of started needing some client management because it was difficult juggling, who have I emailed? What have I emailed? Have I said this? Have I sent a contract?
Right.
So I was just borderline on that, like I could probably look into. So I was looking for a few. And what's cool about a WPPI or Imaging is that you can literally, they have their booths there and you can actually see it. And Studio Ninja was a very small company that had a very small booth. And they were like, they were the only ones at the time that had an app. Which I thought was great because all of us were web-based. So you had to like log in on your phone and you're looking like an idiot. So that attracted me. And two, they were like, please do this. We'll give you 17 years for $1.
Yep.
I'm not even joking. Like I think I paid something like $1 for the first year.
Wow.
Because they were brand new. So I've been with them almost since the beginning. And while they don't probably have all the features of the bigger guys, they have they're releasing stuff almost every month. And it's morphed into, everything that I like. They have a great Facebook group where I'm kind of like, actually, I kind of like this. And they caught votes. And so I felt like I've grown up with them. But I could see someone that's used some of the other ones going to it, not liking as much. But what it allows me to do is not only do I have the best way is if you go to my website, you can actually do a referral form or whatever, a contact form. That is actually hosted by Studio Ninja. Yep. So when you do that contact form, it auto-populates the entire job into Studio Ninja for me, including what type of job, hours, your information, and then boom, the job is already created into it. And then once you have this job, you have a timeline of what I have created of different types of jobs. I have a family portrait timeline. I have a wedding timelines because those require different things, have more steps, all the things. It even sends out automatic emails sometimes on certain things, like reminders. It also handles payment. So all payment can go through Studio Ninja. It handles all contracts. And literally, I have all these things uploaded in there. So I literally press one button and it'll send them their contract. It auto-populates their names into the contract. Like it does all these things that used to take hours into many quick steps.
Yeah.
And then again, if you have 10, 15, 20 weddings or, 20 jobs even, just trying to manage all that stuff, it's very easy. The homepage has, not only does it show me, let's be honest, money that I'm making, it shows that kind of stuff, but it also shows my next due dates, my next jobs, my next tasks, and lets me know if something is overdue. It is very, very handy.
Well, there's one piece that you use that mine also has the capability for, but I don't fully use it yet. So you have like a proposal, like you have something where you can send us a proposal and then it automates from there. So
correct. I can send a proposal or a quote, as they call it too, where you can, if they're not, like say they didn't go through the contact form and they're just kind of, they Instagram or they just straight up emailed you, you can also do that. But you can send them a quote basically of your prices. So basically, like those really fancy, people that have made those quote pricing guides, it does that internally. I just add in all my stuff, and then it sends a proposal to them, and if they accept it, then it creates an invoice, which they have to then pay. And then, of course, you can add your contracts to that. So, and then it creates a whole portal. They have their own private client portal that's just for them. And it shows them in their portal, like, this is what you still have left to do. You haven't signed your contract. You haven't paid your deposit or the remainder of your balance. So no one else can see it, just the client. So yeah, I can create proposals, quotes, invoices, and even meetings, which is really cool. Like I can add meetings into the job. I can add second engagement sessions. I don't have to do a separate, if it's a wedding, I don't have to create a separate engagement. I can put the engagement within that job, and it still separates it out and has its own unique stuff. The only problem with a lot of these though is you do have to build everything from scratch.
Yeah.
They give you some templates, but I'm very specific because of my wording, the way I like my voice to be. So we spent a lot of hours on the wording, getting it right. I'm sure there was a lot of couples that got some weird emails the first couple of times because we couldn't get it right to send it. And some people like the automated email. I'm not a big fan of that as much because I like to keep it a little personal. So I have it set where it auto-populates the email, but when I I have to actually physically hit the check mark, and it'll show me a preview that I can then fix or maybe add something more personal and then hit send. There are some, like I said, like the week before the shoot, there's an automatic email that just says, just confirming, things like that. I know some of the payments automatically sends a reminder. But other than that, like I personally like to just double check the email before it goes. So that was a feature they didn't have at first. It was either automatic or you had to make it. And now that's a cool feature where it's like, it'll just says like, do you want to send it? And you send it, and it shows you it. Then you go, okay. And then, so after that, it goes all the way through into the, edits. And then when I, on the back end, my website is through Zenfolio. And then my back end is client galleries are in Zenfolio. So I do have that. That's where the connection kind of gets lost. Is it like it does look the Studio Ninja all looks one way, and then Zenfolio kind of looks a different way on the back end, which I don't like. And Zenfolio has been fine for me, but my Studio Ninja actually has a one of the web galleries, Pixie Set or Pixset or something that they integrate into it, so that client portal would then show like and I really want to do that. And every time I go to Zenfolio every year to quit, they're like, hey, we'll give you 17 years for 60 cents. And I'm like, that's a good deal because photography is expensive.
I know.
And I'm not saying anything. Yeah, I'm not saying anything bad about Zenfolio. They've been great. I mean, I've had hundreds of jobs that have used it and downloaded photos and all that things. But I do like the idea of the integration since I use Studio Ninja so much that the final piece would stay within that little perfect bubble. It's like they have this perfect bubble of emails and portals and invoices and contracts, and then at the end they have to take a little right turn into Zenfolio, and it's not as streamlined.
So do you feel like your clients access the portal, or do you think they're only like going into things when you're prompting them?
I can't tell if they are, but I can see when they do stuff, and I don't know if the portal necessarily they log into it, but it's basically. It's hard to explain, but I don't think they log into it, but that is what they see on their end when they go into it. They don't have a choice.
So if you sent them like, don't forget to pay your invoice, it wouldn't just go to the invoice. It would go to the portal.
Yeah. And then the portal has like a bunch of tabs. It's sounding really clunky, but it's not. There's just big, bold tabs that say like invoice, contract, and then there's the red exclamation points when they haven't done things. And then they go on there and then they have to do all their stuff. And then if there was a client gallery, it'd be there. You can also add, like if it's a previous client, you can add like their old photos like as gallery wrap. So you can make it look real nice and real personal too. Like, it says all their names and all their stuff. And then what's also cool is on my back end too, is I can go through my client list. Obviously now I have clients, even clients that did not book with me. I have lots of emails and contacts. But also I can click on a client. It'll show me all their previous jobs, how much they've spent with me, all that kind of thing, which is just good information to have
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah. So similar situation, I didn't get in with either of my systems on a conference deal, but I did get in with both of them on Black Friday deals the year they were launching.
See? That's what happens.
So for both of them, I have a lifetime membership. Well, not like a one-time lifetime fee, but like a locked-in price where my price will never go up or down. And it's a lot less than what everyone else pays because they were just launching, and it was kind of like their thank you to someone who was taking a chance on them right away. So I use Dubsado for my client management, and it does have a portal feature, and I've been hesitant to use it because I wasn't sure how many of my clients would actually go and access the portal. So the way Dubsado works, same thing. I have lead forms created from Dubsado that are hosted on my website. My website's with Squarespace. So I have like a general contact form on just my contact page, but then on my portrait page, there's a book now, and that has questions specifically for portraits. And then on the mitzvah page, it has book now, and it's questions specifically for the mitzvahs. So that when it does populate their project, like record in my system, it has the pertinent information, whether it's like if it's the wedding, it'll say like your fiance's name. And so that goes as the alternate contact. But then on the mitzvah, it'll say your child's name. And that's what's in the alternate contact field. So I know like that information up front. But same thing, like it fills in all of their information, and then I can go in and add information, whether it's location or sometimes I'm booking things before they have the location set or something like that. I'm also a little hesitant with automatic emails only because I feel like our work is so custom. So technically with Dubsado, let's say it's for family portraits. Someone could click book now, fill out the family portrait contact form, be automatically sent my proposal for the options for a family portrait. And then when they make I want to do 1 hour on location plus 1 additional hour, submit, then it could automatically generate the contract and then the invoice. And I would not do anything.
Same thing with Studio Ninja.
Yeah.
But I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I don't trust it.
So, and the other thing too is a lot of times people aren't using the lead forms. I don't believe in like forcing. I know it would make my life easier, but I don't like forcing people. So I still have my phone number on my site. I still have my email on my site.
If someone DMs me, can you please go to my website to do it? When I can just create that lead in Studio Ninja just as quickly. It's not a big deal. Yeah. So and that's part of why I don't have a lot automated either. It is really hard though, keeping an eye on every platform possible, because I will get text messages, phone calls, emails. Then I will get Instagram DMs, Facebook messages to my business, Facebook messages to my personal. I hate Facebook Messenger so much, though. That's the only one that I hate, that I have an actual pop-up reply that says, please go to my website. That's the only one. Maybe I should do that. I hate Facebook Messenger. And it's so easy to miss because they don't even come up sometimes. Yeah, they don't. And I don't regularly go to my Facebook page and then go to my Facebook page messages. And now Facebook has this new thing where like, if you start a message thread on your computer, it might not show up on your phone. I hate it. So that's the only one that I actually tell people to go to my website. Or it just says, please contact me. It says go to my website. any other way. You can DM me. I will answer you. Find me on LinkedIn. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah, it's hard. That is hard because I feel like I have to always be looking at everything. But once I have the client, I normally like to do a phone call. Yeah. I used to do in-person meetings. Like I'd do the phone call to schedule an in-person meeting, especially for weddings or bar and bat mitzvahs. But I feel like the pandemic kind of brought us to this age of video calls. Yeah. And I mean, everyone is so busy. I still offer it. I still get a lot of, they're not here too. Yes, so that's true. I've always offered a FaceTime, but most of the time a call. Yeah. Call does. So then once I figure out all of the information they need, to build my contract, like I have packages set up. So I just add the packages to the contract. I can set reminder emails. Yep. And I do automate so like I can customize all of my email templates. So I do automate them sending the contract
And then as soon as the contract is signed, the invoice is sent. And then the invoices, so that normally the invoice is sent for the retainer portion of it. And then right before the event, the invoice is sent again to pay the balance. And the best is when I wake up in the morning and I have a string of emails of like, so-and-so has signed the contract. So-and-so has received your invoice. So-and-so. And then there's an email from them like, can you send me the invoice now? I just signed the contract. Oh, never mind. I just saw the email with the invoice. And then you've received money. Hooray. And you get all of that like while you were asleep.
It's the best.
It's the greatest. That happened to me.
Why do clients always pay at 1 a.m.?
I don't know.
They always pay at 1 a.m.
I don't know. But literally the first night that I had, like the first time I used this with a client, that happened. And I was like, this is amazing. Especially because we're out working so much that where we can't access our email or phone. So that's everything up front. And like I said, there are features I'm not using because I could be using that proposal feature, and I use it for specific jobs where, like I was talking to someone who's hosting a conference. And so I gave them the proposal with all the different pieces in it, and it was set up that they could select what they wanted. Yeah. And then that would give me the information for the contract. But I don't have that part automated. And same thing, Dubsado was made specifically for creatives. So the people who started it were photographers, but they do a lot of training and stuff for graphic designers or whoever, like in the Facebook community for it. Like it's all just creatives. And how do you use this for your clients? I do wish I could add jobs to the same.
Yeah.
Like Dubsado is project based, not client based.
Gotcha.
So it's easy to make a new project and just pull the drop down with their name and then it fills in all their information. But I do wish I could do that. Although for something like an engagement session, it's all under the wedding contract. But you can make an appointment. So I just add the appointment for the engagement session, and it all pushes out to my Google Calendar. So
nice.
I won't miss anything.
But I go and my timelines, what they call timelines, the same thing. You create it yourself, but I have when I want to edit it, you know what I mean? So if I want it done personally 2 weeks after, no later, then it just auto populates that from the date of the job. And then when I want this email to be sent, it lets me know, okay, you would send this out. I even have pre-stuff where you get a lead, which happens all the time. They send you all this information, you send an email back, and crickets.
Yes.
Well, then I have a little timeline that in 4 days or 3 days, I don't know what it is, send another email. And again, these emails, I have created all templates for all of them, depending on weddings or family portraits. They all have their own, thing. But like I said, I don't automatically send them because every time I do, right before when I click send the email, it comes up, and I always try to add some sort of Jacob to it.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, they're pretty standard,
Yeah.
Just, hey, I haven't heard from you. But, and that goes through the whole list.
Yeah. I can do tasks in Dubsado too, but I have so many different tasks that I just have a separate to-do list for my whole life. and I just put things like when editing should be done on there, or I'll put their edit time on my calendar.
I'm listening. I'm pulling up Studio Ninja.
Yeah. So Dubsado did not have an app to start with. It was web accessible, but it's a really robust website to try to manage on your phone. So I didn't do it often, but they just released the app a couple of months ago. And they're not every module is in the app yet, but contracts and invoices are. So that's been nice. Although I think you and I are the same. We're never going to set up a job on our phones.
Never.
We're going to be at our computer with all of our calendars up so we know for sure that we've got the right information.
The only good thing is, here's a workflow of a family portrait when it's in lead and then into production and then post-production.
Oh, I like that.
And I create all of these. So, this is one I'm actually working on, a family portrait. I've, I know it's done, but download the photos. I just check it off just to make sure. And then I have till September 30th to edit for my personal things. That. And you can make this as detailed or undetailed as you want. And these can be triggered off this or triggered off this date or just any date you want.
Yeah.
And I never have to set up. It's all based on when they put their information in.
In Dubsado, they call it workflows.
Gotcha. They used to call it timeline. They call it workflow now. When it was original, it was called a timeline.
Yeah. So
here's their quotes. Here's their
I like
contracts.
that it has a whole production and post-production.
And the big one is you can create your own questionnaires too, which I have. Mm-hmm. So, which is also,
Yeah, I have the questionnaires too, and you can use smart fields in the questionnaire so that it's populating the job, which is really nice. Like you said, though, you have to put in all the time to make that work. I raised my prices, and I probably had like 3 months where I would add the package to the contract and then manually change the price there instead of like just going back to the original package and fixing it. I was so annoyed with myself that I kept doing it. But so that's all the front end part for my clients. And then I use Cloudspot for my client delivery. So I used to use Zenfolio for my website and my client delivery, like client galleries. And I was just getting so many complaints from my clients about their download experience.
It's clunky as clunky.
Yeah, and I just couldn't. It was too many people in a row. And I never had a problem doing it. Like if I tried to do it as a client, I didn't have the problems they were experiencing, but it was enough people complaining about it that I decided to change. And again, Cloudspot was brand new. And when they first started, they were going to have a relationship with Dubsado where you could input their galleries into your Dubsado portal for your client.
Right.
And so that was part of why. And I think I got in with Cloudspot where they were charging $25 a month for unlimited storage. They don't even offer unlimited storage anymore.
Nice.
But I'm locked in with that for forever. But it is a beautiful client gallery site. I can change like the cover image and how it looks. And it's very simple to use. People can use it to favorite their pictures. Or like when I do my brand shoots, I'll upload all of the JPEG files and they have to select which ones they want edited. Super easy. Like no one ever seems to have trouble with it. And yeah, so I think again, because I don't use the client portal function, because I'm not sure that they would go to the portal anyway, I never really tried using the gallery inside the portal, but I had thought about using it for my branding clients that were repeat clients, because then it would all be together. But I do, any of my repeat clients with Cloudspot, you just have like folders within their galleries. So for some families, I just keep adding the pictures so that they can still access all the old ones, because it never fails where I will deliver like the New Year's photos and then they're like, oh, do you have the ones from last year still? I can't find them. I don't know if I downloaded them.
That's actually a good idea.
I just leave them, and it's a separate,
like
you can download all just from the new stuff. And when I send them the email, I can choose if they're just getting a link to the gallery or if they're also getting a button to start downloading a zipped file. And I will only do the new stuff in the zipped file, but they could always go to the gallery, see all the old galleries. And
do you have to tell them not to download to your phone though?
Yes.
Good Lord. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Please
do not download a zipped file to your phone. That is, so speaking of templated emails, that is the majority of my template. From your phone, you can download individual pictures.
My most important email, and the one that is the most detailed, is that email about your gallery. Because it is literally step by step. Like, this is what you do. Then you do this. Do not deviate from this course.
Yes. I tell people the day of, I'm going to send you an email. This is all in the email in case you don't have time to read the email. Don't do the download to your phone.
For the love of God.
Yeah.
You can download one.
Yes, individual pictures. Yeah. And I switched to Cloudspot the same time I stopped offering USB drives or DVDs or anything, because I was, again, running into too many clients who didn't have a way, either they didn't have a DVD drive anymore, so I should switch to USB. But now, like, my own MacBook doesn't have USB. I would have to have an adapter.
How old are you?
75.
They do have some cool USBs that are, like...
I actually have some for my weddings.
On each side, yeah. That's what I use. I still offer it for weddings, just because it's a lot. But we made sure now they have the C or USB on each side. But
yeah, do you use Photo Flash Drive?
Yeah.
That was a WPPI one I got in, and because you were able to buy credits. Yeah, so that's what I use for mine too. And I have a few of the dual-sided ones. The first wedding I used it, I'm like, please tell me if this doesn't work. It was the one you shot for me at Bridal Oaks. I was like, let me know if that side doesn't work, because it's brand new. But yeah, so that's kind of what I use for my clients. I'm very hands-on, and it's always like a personalized experience. So I don't use many of the automated functions outside of contract, invoice, and like day or week of. For my family portraits, for instance, a day before the session, looking forward to seeing your family tomorrow.
Confirming. I do mine a week out, a confirmation a week out.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
I feel
That's
like
the thing I don't even know anymore.
I feel like I don't book family portraits so far in advance that I need to do a week out. Normally it's like the same month is when we're doing the session. Yeah, that's my...
But it definitely helps, like I said, I'm bad with remembering emails or remembering what to do or what I haven't done. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is it keeps me on track. It's not, just roboting things to clients. It's just keeping me, okay, this person has this person is this. Because even like 3 weddings, if you had 3 weddings in the same month or the name, you realize how quickly, wait, who is that again?
I know.
Which one is that?
I really should add reminders somehow for booking second shooters because in September I had 3 mitzvahs plus a few other random events that I needed second shooters for, and it was like mid-August, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't scheduled planning calls and I don't have second shooters booked. And I was like, Jacob, are you free? Yeah. Stephanie, are you free?
And even though we text each other for everything, I actually hate being texted when you need, like, other people do that, text me. And, like, I want a physical email that I can put in a folder to remind to check on. Because sometimes you send the text and then I get 10,000 texts later and I forget to go back and put it into my calendar. And it's happened where they'll be like, hey, you are this. I was like, I don't have this in there. Oh, I texted you. Oh, yeah. And then you texted me 10,000 things about, Sopranos episode 6. So, like...
Note to self.
But if an email had been emailed,
Jacob.
Yeah.
Because Crystal checks his email.
Correct. That's the most important thing. Who actually runs Studio Ninja? My wife. I like to say I did all this stuff. I set up the templates.
Crystal's a real hero.
She does all the stuff.
Yeah.
I do have my Zenfolio does come up in March. So I think this is the year I finally... Yeah. I'm finally going to rip off the Band-Aid. I don't care if they pay me. They're like, we'll give you $200. I'm like, no.
So what will you do for your website then?
That's all part of it. That's one of the biggest issues is that, like, I'm getting a good deal to have both.
I know, it's hard.
But at a certain point, that's what I was explaining to Crystal. I was like, well, I got to spend money to then get a website and client delivery and a back end. So
because that was the other thing I didn't like about Zenfolio is it was pretty restrictive on design, and I felt like I couldn't get it to do what I wanted it to do. So that's why I switched to. I was able to like make a clear break it was like just the right time, and I think when I did it, I wasn't booking a ton of clients for myself yet. My thing is now. Cloudspot has added client management.
Uh-oh.
So technically, I could cancel Dubsado and do everything in Cloudspot. However, I have like close to 60 upcoming jobs already in Dubsado that I would have to manually change over.
Do you put even your freelance gigs in there too?
Yeah.
Yes, me too.
Anything where I'm getting paid, it goes into there except for... when I work at Disney. That's the only one that doesn't go in there because it's its own thing and it's not going through my business. It's going to me personally. So yeah, otherwise everything goes in there.
Same.
And I have things through 2026.
Yep.
So do that would, if I didn't want to manually transfer them, I would have to run both of them for a year and a half. Like if I started Cloudspot now, put all my new stuff in Cloudspot and kept the old stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So
That's how they get you.
So I might just stick with both.
Check back in March when you'll see what happens next.
The anticipation.
It's very exciting. So just for frame of reference too, I pay, and I never know exactly because Studio Ninja is a Australian company. So I'm always paying in kangaroos or something. I'm not really sure. But I always pay the yearly because I remember it being roughly about $12. It was about $12 a month if you paid it as a year, which is roughly, what is that, $144, whatever. I know now roughly it's about $200 a year. I still think it's a good value. They have higher plans where you can have multiple brands on it.
Yeah.
Single brand. I know I pay something over $200 because it's always there's always some weird I pay it, and then they're like, it's like 850 euros or something, and then it's really $200 a month.
That's not
whatever Australia has.
They have Australian dollars.
Okay, Australian dollars. Oh yeah, that's right. AUD.
Yes.
So I tried to look it up now, but I don't know what it was. But yeah, somewhere over $200 a year that I pay. I don't pay per month because I'm a big fan of paying everything at once. Mm-hmm. Usually it's cheaper than the monthly payment.
Yeah, and it's all coming out of the same money.
Correct. But I'm very happy with Studio Ninja.
Yeah, I think for Dubsado, I want to say I pay $180 a month because of that Black Friday deal, and that I get to renew at that rate every year.
Yeah.
And then Cloudspot is $25 a month, which is fantastic. And then I also have to pay Squarespace. I think it's gonna be like $236 a year.
You want to be a photographer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, somehow I told, like, not on accident, but both my Zenfolio and my Studio Ninja both renew.
Oh, ouch.
Within the same week in March. Did not plan that like 12 years ago, but
yeah,
here we are.
Well, my Squarespace is on 2 separate months because I have 2 separate websites with them. But thankfully, they're both it's like May and June, and then Dubsado is November. I was going to say Thanksgiving. It's around then. In November. So, and then Cloudspot is monthly just because that's what the deal was set for.
So you want to be a photographer, enjoy all this money we spend. I would say you don't need one right off the bat at all. Try and do it yourself, especially to get your emails down and learn how you want to run your client stuff. Because it's also, when you get these programs, a lot of them are just it's an empty vessel. So you have to do everything. So you kind of have to know already what you want to say, how you want your clients to go through it. So to buy it right off the bat, I think is...
Yeah. I didn't have a client management system until 6 years ago. 5 or 6 years ago. And I was fine. It was just keeping that email address decluttered enough so I didn't miss things. But now I could not live without it. I would die.
I'd rather get rid of my camera than
would be easier
than my client management system. CRM. CMS? I thought mine was called a CRM. Am I thinking something else? I don't know.
Alphabet soup.
Just move on. What did you shoot this week?
So this week, I actually went to the Middle District Courthouse in downtown Orlando to do headshots for the law clerks for one of the judges. So that particular judge, I had just photographed her investiture over the summer. And then she asked me to come back because she likes to have a printed headshot of each of her law clerks in her office. So I went into the courthouse. We went into her courtroom, set up my headshot studio, and there were 3 people. So basically I took pictures of the first one and then downloaded quickly to my iPad, handed it to them so they could pick their 3 favorites while I started on the next person.
Nice. And
we cycled through, but they all wanted to stay with each other to give each other's opinions on which one looked the best. And of course it was 2 women and then a man, and the women were going back and forth. And they both had things they didn't like about themselves, obviously, because we all do, but then also they had opinions on each other.
Sure.
And then we downloaded the guys' pictures and they're like, what the hell? Why do you look perfect in every picture? But it's there's not hair to fix, there's not clothing, there's no jewelry. It's just easier.
The male headshot is just, this one.
Yeah. He literally just picked the first 3 and was these look fine. Uh-huh. And then I'm going back to edit and I'm
they're done.
They're basically the same picture. So, but yeah, so I did that, and then I had a bar mitzvah party, but it was fun because it was at Topgolf.
I know, and I couldn't go, which is sad.
No, you couldn't, but Stephanie was with me. It was fun. It was a very short day, too. I know you had something else that day. We'll
get to that, because I texted you a lot, including after you went to bed, because I was still working.
You did. One of them, I feel like we need to share the exchange of text messages. But so the Topgolf that we were at has a private room on the 3rd floor. So
What is Topgolf?
Topgolf is a recreational activity.
Sponsor us.
Basically, it's a massive driving range, 3 levels of driving range.
It's very fun.
I don't know if I've ever done all of these cool things. Like, I think I've only been there to work.
I don't want to interrupt your story, but story time from Jacob. They didn't do it this year, but right after COVID, they were doing a deal for $150 for the entire summer. You could come Monday through Friday because it's like $40 an hour.
Whoa!
So for $150, it was basically May to August or September, and you could come Monday through Friday, open to noon, and play unlimited amount for up to 6 people.
What?
Dude, my whole family, we did that for 2 years in a row. I didn't see it this year, so I don't know if they're done offering it. Yeah, it was it was the hottest part of the year, so it was very hot.
Yeah.
But unlimited play, so we played.
And they've got so many fans and everything. Yeah. It's not that bad.
We never had a problem. We'd get there right at Park Open, like it's like a theme park. We'd rope drop Topgolf, and then play till about 10 or 11 when we got too hot, and then we left.
Huh. That's really cool.
Best $150 I ever spent.
Yeah. Well, the party was really fun because they have the private room. Have you done one with me at Topgolf?
Not at Topgolf.
Oh, no, we were at Andretti's.
Yeah.
That was chaos. So they just have a private room on the 3rd floor with slider doors that open directly to the bays.
Yeah.
So it's easy to have like the nice formal tablecloth tables, the buffet food, the dance floor, the DJ, all of that.
Air conditioned. And then when it's time to move on to the party, when it's cooler, I've had events where they slide all the glass doors open. So it's a fully open experience. But this one, they just kept like one real door open between the two because it was too hot to let all that hot air in. So like the adults kept dancing on the dance floor and all the kids just whacking away.
Just went. Because the bar mitzvah boy wasn't into dancing, but he wanted to golf and have fun with his friends. And actually, one of our clients that we photographed in February of last year.
I've never met them before.
I saw his name. I was photographing the like name cards, and I saw his name, and I'm looking around at all of the kids, and I'm like, where is he? I don't see him. Like, because normally I like to try to say hi, and I remembered him. He grew like a foot.
Dang.
Since February. And just like filled out. He was like a really petite kid, and now he's like grown man size. I did not recognize him. His mom came up to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think you were really here because I couldn't find Andrew. And she's like, no.
He's over there.
Yeah. And his voice dropped really low. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoy that one. It's, people you see over and over again.
That reminds me of a story just recently where I photographed a wedding for myself, and one of the bridesmaids, I just was like, man, you look familiar. Like, finally, when I was doing bridesmaids and brides photo, and I was like, how do I know you? And she was like, yeah, you shot my wedding. And I was like,
oh, no.
I was like, oh, your hair and makeup. And I was like, oh, my God. And then, of course, it all came flashing back.
Uh-huh.
But
it's hard. We meet so many people. It's hard to place them when they're not where they belong.
They just had a kid, and the kid was like running around, not in a bad way, but like she was so like, I see the one bridesmaid always with the kid trying to get that. So I wasn't like locked into her. And, when you go into the room to the getting ready, your focus is on one person.
Right.
There's a lot of blank faces to me in there that are just talking. So I didn't recognize her. But once I actually had them, in their dresses and they were outside doing photos, why do I know you? You shot my wedding. Sure did.
I know. I will have some bar and bat mitzvahs, same thing, where I'm like laser focused trying to capture the child that the whole event is for. And I'm not really like seeing anyone else. And it won't be until I go back to edit later that I'll see like previous kids that I've worked with that were right there. And I've had a few times, because it's some families I get closer to than others, depending on like how many different events we do together. Yeah. And I've had times where I've had to go back and like email the mom and be like, hey, please tell so-and-so I said hi. I didn't realize they were there. I was just so focused on, But I always feel awful.
I know. To be fair, the 13-year-old kid does not care about you. They don't care about your old ass.
Yeah, probably not. So what did you shoot this week?
Well, I shot 2 things, but let's talk about this wedding I shot where I was texting you a lot. It was actually a great wedding, but it was one of our freelance weddings. Mm-hmm. I was by myself for a 12-and-a-half-hour day. So it's shooting by myself at 3 different locations.
So when we talked about wedding day timelines and how travel can impact your day.
Correct.
Example A.
It wasn't a lot by any stretch. It was just a long day. Mm-hmm. But the couple were fantastic. The family was great. They were Latina, mm-hmm. Hispanic. I don't know how you say it better. And I've been taking some Duolingo, so I got to impress them with some because her dad did not speak any English, and I had to get him for a first look. And he was like, his name was Fernando or something, and I was like, Fernando, come with me. He was like, English? I was like, or Spanish? I was like, uh-oh. And I was like, yo necesita to take el photo con hija, which is, your daughter, to hija. And it was good enough that like some of the bridesmaids were like surprised. They were like, oh my God, like
good
that
job.
Was, so I was like, look at me. But the only issue was when we got to the reception spot. I don't know if their AC, it definitely wasn't broken. It was on, mm-hmm. but it definitely wasn't like at max. Because when I got there, the fans, they already had floor fans all over the reception. Oh
no, that's never a good sign.
Yeah. So like I could feel AC in a few certain spots, but it probably wasn't like either had failed or was not at full capacity. Mm-hmm. So it was extremely hot. And of course, people come up to me because I'm dressed in black thinking I work there. Like, and I'm like, I'm just a photographer. You got to talk to the staff. Yeah. And it was hot, and it was a big, party with lots of sweaty dancing already, and then add the heat. At one point, the cake, I actually had mentioned, I was like, the cake was bubbling. Like, I got the photos of it right away, and then it started bubbling a little bit. And I was like, we should do the cake cutting, and the coordinator was like, no, that's a very specific timeline. I was like, okay. And at one point during the dancing, I look over, and the cake had literally, it was on 3 tiers, but like, it was like a tier, and then like a little statue built, and then another tier, like they didn't touch each other, but the second tier had crumbled like the ruins of Rome. I sent you a photo of it.
If you are listening to just the audio of this, we will include that picture on Instagram.
So I actually took a photo of it, one to document it, just to show that like it happened. I will not deliver that photo to the client, but it's just to be like, this is what happened in case you forget. Obviously, the perfect photos were taken right when I got into the room, so there's no problem there. But I went back to the coordinator and was like, hey, the cake is crumbled. And she was like, what? So she goes out there, tries to like fix it and turn it around sideways and put it in the back. And then she was like, we should do cake cutting. I was like, you think?
Should we?
Should we?
What an idea. I hadn't considered that.
But, I mean, from getting ready to a sparkler exit, there was nothing missed at that wedding.
And by yourself, too, is brutal. And let me tell you, I'm having a hard time kicking back into busy season because everything's hurting more than it used to. Like, after not shooting the volume that we're used to all summer, and then getting back into stuff.
That Sunday, the Sunday after, like, I was useless. I was Jabba the Hutt, sitting on my couch with, like, my dog on my shoulder, just, I'm like, children, you got to feed yourselves. Daddy can't move.
I was going to say, I should get the text exchange. It was something to the effect of Jacob saying, like, oh, I love that I still have 4.5 hours left to
But every hour.
But every hour. And then one of the hours, me writing back, and it was a picture of me and Stephanie saying, like, oh, we only have 25 minutes left. And I believe the response was something to the effect of, I hope your front teeth get smashed in.
It's cool that, like, I said, OMG, I still have 8 hours left. And that was when the ceremony ended. The ceremony's done and I still had 8 hours left.
Oh, gosh.
And then I said, it's cool that I have 4 hours left. And he sent a photo of you and I go, I hope you knock your front teeth out. Because you said it's cool we have 90 minutes left after I said I have 4 hours left.
And the party was only 3 hours. Yeah. So we worked 3.5 hours because we got there early for decor pictures.
And then you just stopped texting me at one point because I assumed you were asleep. Jackass. But no, it was a really great wedding. Like, overall, the clients were amazing. The family was amazing. I have nothing bad. We took some amazing photos. No real problems, like I said, except for the AC. It was just a long day, but that's the job you signed up for. So.
But you were in Lake Nona, right? Yeah. So at least it wasn't like
I didn't drive like 3 hours. Because that drive home would have been brutal.
You would. I think you would have just called me and incessantly until I answered.
And then the other thing I shot was a family portrait of a family who I have now photographed the couple's wedding. And then last year they were expecting. So I did a maternity shoot. And then the baby is now a baby. Aww. It's actually a year and some change old. So it's, I forget after the months, 18 months, 17 months.
Months. Plus.
But she was super cute. And so it's just one of those that I love more thing where it's like you meet someone like as a couple and you just kind of get to grow with them.
Yeah.
As a family. And like I always joke like, oh, I'll photograph her wedding. And then when I do though, that is when I die and quit.
Right.
The minute I photograph an original client's child's wedding,
we're done.
I'm out. I'll do it, but then I'm out.
I know. I've had a bat mitzvah client, the one that you had to cover for me. Because,
I've never met that girl.
Anyways, I photographed bat mitzvah and then her senior photos. And that in itself was upsetting. And that was only 5 years. So I can't wait for, like, when these kids start to get engaged and stuff, I'm not going to be okay.
I'm out.
Not going to be okay.
It was funny though. We did it at the yacht club because they were staying at the yacht club, and so we did a lot of stuff. They loved the lighthouse, and they had in their wedding. We had done some photos at the boardwalk, the camera, the picture.
Oh, the photo booth.
Photo booth. I don't know why I can't think of stuff.
Because you just had your birthday.
That's true. So. It was a shorter session too because it's a baby. There's no need to do a 7-hour photo session with a baby. But it was actually a really nice morning. It was cloudy and I love them. So I was like, yeah, let's walk over there. It's not a big deal. They had a stroller. So we walk from the yacht club all the way around. We're talking. It was great to catch up. We get there. Guess what's not there anymore?
I should have told you it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. They moved it. They took it away.
I don't think they moved it. Is it coming back? Nobody knows.
It hasn't come back yet, but it's been a few months that it's been gone.
That's one of those things when I used to work there, being there so much more, you know when things are gone. But I also told them too, though, that it didn't matter. Even when at Disney, we would never find out about anything.
Oh, no.
We would go into Magic Kingdom and they'd be like, oh, the castle's been removed for the morning.
No. Well, how about...
Okay.
You remember a few years ago where they had stitched like toilet paper, the castle? I had a wedding at the Polynesian that day. And like the whole point of getting married at the Polynesian resort is to have pictures from across the lake with the nice castle in the background. And instead it was covered in toilet paper. Yeah. But no one told anyone that that's what was going to happen that day. That's just what happened.
They don't tell anybody anything.
It's a working theme park.
So, yeah. But so we got there and then, I did some stuff there and we walked back and it was fine. But they were so sweet because then they emailed and they were like, we feel so bad. What do we owe you for the extra time? Aww. And I was like, absolutely not. That was a Jacob decision to go there. You owe me nothing but friendship and continued.
And please come back next year.
Continued photo shoots. So, like I said, I love that couple.
Yeah.
It was never a big deal, but.
That's nice.
Yeah. That's what I shot.
Cool. Well, I was wondering, since the week this episode comes out is Halloween, what is your favorite Halloween candy? You think we could do a top 5?
None of this garbage.
To be fair,
do you give out pencils to children?
Okay. Wait, there's
more. Are you that old lady?
There's more. There's like fake teeth. Okay, but I'm
not coming to your house.
There's so many people that have allergies and stuff, and I want kids to still get something, even if they can't have candy.
You know they have allergy-free candy? As someone who has a kid with allergies, we do a whole table with allergy-friendly stuff.
Then send it to me because I wasn't sure what to do last year. So we got, and let me tell you, when I gave kids the option, everyone was taking my pencils and my fake teeth instead of the candy.
A lot of nerds live in this neighborhood.
I guess so.
All right.
Okay, so top 5 favorite candy of all time.
We did not talk about this. Oh, wait, here's a list.
Oh, wait, here's our pre-prepared list.
Yeah, none of mine are in this bowl. You want to go first? What's your number 5?
Sure. My number 5, actually, I don't think one of mine is in this. My number 5 is Kit Kat. Just a classic. That's a good one. Classic, good at fun size.
That's what she said. You may see that again on my list.
Oh, okay.
My number 5 is a kind of a rare one that literally only comes out in bite-sized form, I feel. Crackles.
Oh.
Those little red ones in the silver package that pretty much only come in at Halloween candy. I like it a crackle. I like the crispiness.
I do like a crispy candy.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Milky Way.
Ugh.
What do you mean, ugh?
Now, everyone has literally just nodded in the comments.
No.
Ugh.
That's all. Milky Way.
Is that coconut? Which one has Milky Way?
How can you be so gross about it when you don't even know what it is? It's just nougat and caramel.
Because I know it's not good. My number 4, we're on 4, Should have been your fourth.
What did I say?
3, I think.
Number 4 was Milky Way.
My number 4 is the lightest candy in the world candy bar. It's like eating air. 3 Musketeers.
Oh, that's what I was trying to think of when I was sitting over here Googling. I couldn't think of. Yeah, that one's a good one.
Soft, light, fluffy.
How can you like that and not like Milky Way?
Because I'm a human.
In the fun size form, they're barely discernible.
Nope, everyone agrees with me. Tell me in the comments.
Okay, my number 3, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Ooh.
Just a solid candy all around. So I like to see it.
Those could have been, I could have put those above Crackle maybe. But I think of Halloween. My number 3, you can tell I like the crispy ones. Nestle Crunch. Nestle Crunch.
I could have put that on my list instead of Kit Kat.
A little bit of rice, a little bit of crisp. Sign me up.
See, that was, I think I'm remembering this right, but I remember my dad liking those. So I didn't get very many when I was a kid.
I like him.
I think my dad and I were having to share those.
Yep.
All right. What was your number 3?
Nestle Crunch. Will you stop eating and do the thing?
My number 2 is M&M's.
Oh, a specific?
All types of M&M's. What?
Well, my number 2 is also M&M's, but it's very specific. Peanut butter M&M's.
I was going to guess it was peanut butter.
There is no other M&M that can be. In last place, peanut M&M's.
Last place of all candy.
Of all M&M's.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of M&M's.
Well, I'm talking about the main, not some weird Oreo flavored, tequila flavored M&M. I'm talking about just the heavy hitters.
Peanut butter is one of my favorites.
Peanut butter is the best M&M.
My other favorite is the pretzel M&Ms, but I don't think they make them anymore. Those were good.
Again,
talking about crispy crunchy.
You are not saying anything correct. Peanut butter, regular M&M, and then everything else is in this garbage bin below me.
All right, hot shot. My number 1.
Number 1.
It's not because it's my favorite candy.
Okay.
It is just it is like a staple of Halloween candy, and it's Milk Duds. I only eat it at Halloween.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. Don't give me any of this crap, though.
Your list is unacceptable. I hate Skittles.
Me too.
My number 1, you already mentioned it.
Kit Kat?
Kit Kat, baby.
It's a good one.
Kit Kats are beyond, they're not just Halloween candy. Kit Kats are my jam 24/7. And I don't really like candy, but you give me a Kit Kat, I'm eating a Kit Kat.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I eat like a candy bar normally is if we're in the checkout line at Target and we get a Twix to split. And it's only because it's easy to split. Or Kit Kat.
Kit Kats, baby.
Yeah.
Don't like it. I can eat a Snickers, but I don't ever like think about it.
I don't like any fruity candy.
Me either.
And I especially don't like it when it makes my chocolate taste fruity.
Yeah.
Then I really don't like it.
There's a lot of garbage candy in here. Let's just throw it in the garbage. Much like this podcast.
I would like everyone to know, though, that Jacob ate a bag of peanut M&Ms before we started.
It's true. Because I was starving. Of all my choices, this was the best option.
So it can't be that bad.
All right.
Okay.
This is over. We're done. Bye.
Bye.